Chapter 8, The Skin I'm In by Sharon Flake. We're watching how Malika's conflict is changing. Remembering that her conflict is her self-image. She is teased a lot based off the way that she looks. She wants to feel confident in herself but doesn't seem to. And so as we read today, we're considering the people who affect Malika and the situations and circumstances that affect her. What is happening in Malika's life that's causing her conflict to grow or change, or to cause her view, her perspective or point of view about her conflict to grow and change. Chapter 8. The only reason Mama lets me off restriction at home is because I started that new job. And we're just remembering the reason Malika's on restriction in the first place is because she got in a fight because a girl at school thought that Malika was kissing her boyfriend, but really it was Char who was doing that. However, Malika blames Miss Saunders, not Char, for the fight, and so now she's got this new job at school working in the office, and she's on restriction at home. Okay, so she's off restriction now because she started that new job, and she thinks that's going to change me somehow. I don't tell her she's out of her head. Shoot, I'm just glad I can watch TV and talk on the phone again. After all, it is Saturday. But I can't talk on the phone right this minute because as soon as my girl Sweets comes over to my house, she hogs the phone. Sweets' mama is super strict. She never lets Sweets on the phone. So here she is, laying across my bed on her stomach with her short legs waving in the air every time Larry says something to her. Neither one of us is supposed to talk to boys, but we do every once in a while. With the way Sweets is acting, you'd think Larry could see her. She's putting lip gloss on her lips, combing her hair, brushing off her clothes. Sweets has been liking Larry since she was 6 years old. She thinks he likes her, only he's so shy, you can't tell. All he ever talks about with her is basketball. They're talking about the game the Knicks won the other night. If you could see that big smile Sweets has got on her face, you would think Larry just said he loves her. Sweets and me been best friends since kindergarten. She goes to the school across town, the school for smart girls with attitudes, she likes to say. I could have gone there. My grades were as good as Sweets, better in fact, only I changed my mind at the last minute. I went to the interview and wouldn't answer one question they asked. Mama was so embarrassed. She cried all the way on the subway ride home. I didn't plan it that way, I just froze, I guess. The school is so big, so clean, so fancy, and them girls, they look like they come out of a magazine. Long, straight hair, skin the color of potato chips and cashews and Mary Jane candies. No almond joy colored girls like me. No gum smacking, wisecracking girls from my side of town. That didn't bother Sweets none. She says she deserves to be in that school as much as anyone. You got the right color skin, I said, poking her fat tan face. It's not about color, she said. It's how you feel about you, about who you are that counts. She said, twirling around on her toes like a ballerina with bad feet. I'm as good as the Queen of England, the President of the United States, and 10 movie stars all rolled into one. So they'd better let me in their school or else, she said, shaking her fist up to the sky. I guess Sweet's attitude paid off. They let her into that high-toned school. Up to last year, Sweets and me did everything together. Now all she does is study. I gotta keep up, she says. Getting straight A's in this school ain't like getting A's in our old school. You sweat to get these A's. Gotta half die to keep them. Sweet's been on the phone for half hour already. I tell her to cut it. She says to give her 5 more minutes. That really means 15 minutes. So I go back to doing what I'm doing, looking at all the junk I got under my bed. Socks, cards, dust, an earring. I've been looking for a piece of old hard toast and a mirror I ain't seen for a while. It's a cheap little thing, but Daddy gave it to me a long time ago, so I try to hold on to it. It's got a pink plastic handle with little white bunnies painted on it. I check my face out in the mirror. That cut from Daphne's ring is gone. Mama says I'm like Daddy. I heal fast. That ain't the only thing Daddy and me got in common. I got his eyes. Dark, almond-shaped eyes with long, thick black lashes. My lips, they're like Mama's. Full and wide. They look like that actor's lips on TV. I can't think of his name just now, but he's got the kind of lips that make you want to kiss him quick. Soft, smooth, pretty-looking lips. My nose and my ears, I don't know where they came from. They don't look like Mama's or Daddy's. My nose is small and pug. Daddy used to always pinch it when I was little. I want to pause for a moment and just note that Malika, who's really self-conscious about herself, seems to be describing herself in a really nice way at the moment. So we see some maybe hope. So I want you to keep thinking about this and what might be causing her to view herself in a better way all of a sudden. I am the same color Daddy was. When I was little, he would come home from work and say, I sure could use me a warm cup of cocoa. That meant for me to give him a big hug and lots of kisses. I liked that. I didn't used to mind being this color. Then kids started teasing me about it, making me feel like something was wrong with how I look. And when Daddy passed away, that just made things worse. I stare at myself for maybe 20 minutes in Daddy's mirror. I don't get it. I think I'm kind of nice looking. Why don't other people see what I see? I think. Out of the blue, I get an idea. I'm gonna cut my hair. Cut it real short like the girl on the cover of the magazine laying on my floor. I yell for Sweets to get off the phone. She ain't listening. She's smiling at something Larry just said to her. Off the phone, I yell so I can hear. Off the phone before I tell Larry you like... Before I finish the sentence, Sweets is hanging up and hitting me over the head with a pillow. You know that ain't right, she says, whacking me good. I tell Sweets I'm gonna cut my hair. Gonna cut it real close. People gonna see I ain't who I used to be, I say. You gonna cut your hair off like bald? Sweets asks. Well, not that off, but close like this, I say, showing her the picture. Sweets helps me take out my braids and lets me know that I shouldn't be trying nothing like this by myself. If you jack up your hair, you really will look a mess, she says. Then she tells me how her cousin Ronnie just opened up a shop on the avenue. I don't have money to go to no shop, I tell her. Sweets says that her cousin did her hair for free last week and all she had to do was sweep up the floor. Sweets calls her cousin for me and her cousin says, yeah, she'll cut my hair. But I have to give her 3 Saturdays worth of work. And I have to bring a note from Mama saying that the cut is okay with her. It takes me 2 hours to talk Mama into this thing. I don't tell Sweets or Mama the real reason that I'm doing this. That I want a new look like that model in the magazine so that maybe people will start to see me differently and treat me differently. Mama and Sweets wouldn't understand me saying nothing like that. So I just keep my mouth shut while Sweets and I walk to the avenue. Ronnie tells me to leave things to her. She puts a texturizer on my scalp till it loosens up my hair. Then she washes the texturizer out. When she is finished, it seems like 10,000 tiny black shiny curls was all over my head. Ronnie takes out the clippers, gives me some points on the side, and evens up the back of my hairline. She says. Now, you gotta have a little attitude when you wear this cut. You got attitude, Malika? She asks with her hands on her hips. I look at her and ask what she means. Then a woman comes out from under the dryer. She takes off her clip-on earrings and asks Ronnie for some alcohol. She cleans them clunky things off and clips them on my ears without even asking me. This is one of those hairdos you strut your stuff in. Sisters wearing these know they're sharp, Ronnie says, taking out the clippers and going at my hairline again. I'm looking in the mirror and I can't believe my eyes. I like what I see. You got any lip gloss? She asks me, turning me around in the chair, still checking out my hair. I dig in my pocketbook and pull out some red lipstick from Murphy's drugstore. You're too young to be wearing lipstick, Ronnie says. She makes me stick my finger in a gigantic jar of Vaseline she keeps near her mirror, and I rub a little on my lips. When Ronnie's finished, the 3 other hairdressers get all up in my face, and so do some customers. One woman's got relaxer cream all over her head. They're all talking about how good I look. Sweets is nodding and smiling and agreeing with everybody. Give me some attitude, Ronnie says, taking off my cape. I have my head down and my arms crossed. Another woman comes out from under the dryer and starts strutting across the floor. Attitude, girl, she says, switching her butt around, dipping and turning like a fashion model. Attitude, Sweet says, getting into the act. Everybody turns and looks at me. I start snapping my fingers and walking around like somebody. I look good. The woman who's given me her earrings comes over to me and puts her hands on my hips. You got to shake them hard. Make people know you mean business. I start pushing my hips from side to side, taking long steps and putting my arms out like I'm on a runway someplace. You go, girl, a woman says. Shake it, don't break it. You do look good, Malika, Sweets agrees. That cut is you. A new customer comes into the store and over to Ronnie. The woman with the earrings gets herself back under the dryer, and the other lady goes back to getting her hair relaxer washed out. I get Ronnie's broom and start sweeping. So as we move throughout the novel, in the Rising Action section, which is most of the book, we are trying to explore Malika's problem of being teased, and specifically, I want to note that it's not just that she's being teased, but she doesn't think of herself real well either. She doesn't have a lot of confidence. So the question we're asking ourselves these past few chapters is, what characters and situations are affecting Malika and her problem? Throughout chapters 1 through 6, we saw a big effect on Malika from 2 primary characters, which are Char and Miss Saunders. And now I'm asking you to think about how these things are affecting her. In chapter 7, we saw that Malika was blaming Miss Saunders for her fight, even though Char was a lot more involved in it. And now here in chapter 8, we don't find Char or Malika. We have this new character, Sweets, who seems to be a pretty good friend. But she's not the one who affects Malika either. Malika finds this mirror under her bed. And by the way, before we even finish the chapter, you should have thought, oh, a mirror might be significant because the title of the book is The Skin I'm In. And the primary conflict is she doesn't like the way she looks. A mirror is going to show her the way she looks. So we find this mirror, and it's pretty significant or important. And we learn that she got the mirror from her father, that when her father was around, she used to feel confident about herself. She liked the way she looked. And she goes on to explain it in a positive manner. And the more she looks at herself in this mirror and thinks about her memories of her father, she gains enough confidence and decides to take control of her own problem and to find a possible solution by getting her hair cut. So that is chapter 8. It's the first time we see of any kind of hope. We've heard her several times talk about trying to fix her problem, but this is the first chance we've seen her try and really fix it. A good reader will know this can't be the final solution because we're only in the rising action, but it might be the start of a solution, or it might make the problem worse. So I'm curious what you think. Do you think this is going to help Malika out? Or do you think this might make her problem a little bit worse? Now is a good time to go to Google Classroom to go to the chapter 7 through 9 assignment. Make sure you attach a Google document and answer your questions in complete sentences with textual evidence. You can answer and then you can save it as a draft. So you should have answered question 1, which was about chapter 7 and about Malika's opinion of Miss Saunders. Today's question for chapter 8 is about the mirror Malika finds and how it affects her, why it might be significant or important to the text. You can answer both of those questions, save it as a draft, and then when you watch the chapter 9 video or read chapter 9, you can respond to question 3, which asks you to make a prediction for the upcoming action of the text based off our chapter 9 actions. All right, that's all for today. Have a great day, guys.